It's a marshmallow world in the winter when the snow comes and covers the ground. What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful snow-filled morning. And just at least shoveling snow today with the idea that the United States of America is a world power in hockey. So that's fun. Thank you to the ladies. Thank you to the dudes going out there doing their things in Italy. Gold medals for both of them. And yesterday was so unbelievably beautiful. I've been just in general, I'm a sucker for culture. So world competition, whether it's the Euro, well, that's just Europe, the CONCACAF in soccer, and the Olympics. Love the Olympics. It's great stuff. World Cup, the soccer, great stuff. Love world competition. Hockey on the national and global stage is so much damn fun. Whether when I say national, really, it's I'm blanking on it now, but oh my god, just watching basically USA versus Canada, USA versus pretty much anything. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And I got up early yesterday, got downstairs, turned the TV on, and just watched 3 periods of absolutely incredible hockey. And the United States did not play particularly well. It sounds like sour grapes for the Canadians, but I forget who it was that said it from the Canadian national team. But they said, you tell us who you think the better team was today. And it's like, well, yeah, Canada played a hell of a game. They did not capitalize on opportunities. And that is what the game is about. I don't give a damn if somebody has a wide open net in front of them and they created that opportunity for themselves and then they blow it, just like the Canadians did time and time again, where either they missed an empty net or they just couldn't find out a way to beat Connor Hellenbuck yesterday. It was spectacular. 41 saves in that game. Each one you're living and dying by. It was insane. The U.S. team's goals. Jack Hughes coming up with the game winner in overtime. Earlier in the game, you see this team go out there, not creating a lot of opportunities in that first period, and Matt Boldy out of nowhere created his own opportunity. Split 2 defenders, went right to the crease and buried it for the first goal of the game. Every second of that game you're living and dying by. And when they did win and they went to overtime, well, first off, United States had a 5-on-3 and they couldn't capitalize on that. Or the Canadians couldn't capitalize on a 5-on-3 earlier in the game. The United States couldn't capitalize on a 4-minute penalty late in the third period of that game. And then they go to overtime and the United States wins it. And then when they won it, I didn't think it could get any better. I honestly did not think it could have gotten any better than just that feeling of the United States finally winning gold. I grew up fascinated with the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. I've seen maybe every major documentary that's been made about that team. I just love that team. And they had not won a gold medal since 1980. Miracle on ice against the Russians and all that, against the Soviets, all that. And just that feeling of, wow, they did it. They finally did it. They had some very close calls against Canada in the past, certainly, but they finally did it. And seeing the team celebrate, seeing the American flag being waved in the stands there, I thought that would be, this is incredible. And then the United States brings out Johnny Gaudreau's jersey, his sweater. And look, that is just such an amazing thing just to bring it out. And then before the team photo, bringing out Johnny Gaudreau's children who were there at the game yesterday with Johnny's wife and his father, Guy. And that was top-notch, classiest thing I've ever seen in sports. and I've thought about it for a long time. I remember Payne Stewart beating Phil Mickelson, U.S. Open maybe, but I remember Phil Mickelson's wife was pregnant with their first child, and Payne Stewart sinks a putt, and there's a famous celebration. He's there in the Knickerbocker pants, and he throws his putter, and he's cheering, and he beats Phil Mickelson, and he goes over to Phil, and he grabs Phil's face, and he says, "You're gonna love being a father." That to me was like that's one of the classiest things I've ever seen. Jared Saltalamacchia in Philadelphia, when Tony Gwynn Jr. steps to the plate. I believe it was the day Tony Gwynn Sr. passed away, or the day after, maybe the day Tony Gwynn Jr. Got back to Philadelphia. He was playing for the Phillies at that time. The Philadelphia fans giving him the standing ovation that they gave him was extremely classy. But I do remember Jared Saltalamacchia stepping out, the catcher, stepping out, calling time so that Tony Gwynn Jr. got more of an ovation. That's one of the classiest things I've seen. But now, number one in sports, the classiest thing I've ever seen is what Team USA did for Johnny Gaudreau's family and honoring his memory. That was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I hope you guys got to enjoy that game yesterday. I know it was an earlier game for some. I had a Wings game. I had a Wings game yesterday. It was at 3 o'clock. They moved it up to 1 because of the snow, because of the blizzard, officially a blizzard. And I watched all 3 periods at home, and then it was time to go. I had to go, and I had the game on my phone, paying attention to the road above all else. And then Jack Hughes scored in overtime, and I just just euphoria, man. Euphoria. So awesome. So awesome. So loved everything about that yesterday. So I hope we got to enjoy the game yesterday because it was just spectacular. And I think the Italians, no bias, I think the Italians did a phenomenal job hosting the Winter Olympics. It was great. It was absolutely great. I haven't watched the closing ceremonies. I'll watch that, snippets of it, whatever, on YouTube some other time. But oh my goodness gracious, that was so spectacular yesterday. And I am still just beaming from it. Still just beaming. And I joked about this on social media. I got to see the United States win the gold medal in hockey, which I'd never seen in my life. And the Sixers won a third quarter. Those are what a day. It's a good day. Your 76ers. Goodness gracious, people. They sucked Saturday night, the first game of a back-to-back. They sucked against the Pelicans. A 15-win freaking Pelicans team, all right? They were terrible. They shot 3 of 24 from beyond the arc in that second half of that game. They actually shot very well. Shot 41% from beyond the arc in the first half. Second half, terrible. And now I got to look at them and take on a 35-win Minnesota Timberwolves team. Really? This is what we're doing? This is what I have to do now? Don't like that. And what do? They go out there and they dictated play. In the first quarter of that game, Tyrese Maxey comes out, and I think it was in the first minute. He throws 2 terrible passes. And you're looking at this going, is this just going to be one of those games where the Sixers in the second game of back-to-back just go through the motions, essentially? Is this what we're going to be watching? Maxey's turning the ball over. This ain't good. Then VJ Edgecombe goes on to have 10 points in the first quarter. Tyrese Maxey goes on to score 39 points in total. The Sixers come out of the third quarter, beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 26-20 in that third quarter. And in that third quarter, something happened that I know I've been waiting for. I know you've probably been waiting for. We've all been waiting for. Somebody to look around at his teammates and just go, not today. Not today. Not tonight. Not this third quarter. We're not having a meltdown. We're not falling apart in this third quarter. And that man's name last night was Tyrese Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey scored 13 of his 39 points. 13 of the Sixers' 26 points. Yeah, half their points in that third quarter. And the exclamation point on that third quarter came at the 7:30 mark of that third quarter when Tyrese Maxey got the steal on the defensive end, ran out, juked by, I forget who it was, one guy, crossover at the top of the key, through the lane, and in Anthony Edwards' face, threw it down. Chef's kiss. Hammer, thunder, slam by Tyrese Maxey with a little flex on the end of it and stare down of Anthony Edwards. I saw the picture that came out after the game. It was the freeze frame of that moment where Maxey just kind of like, and Kelly Oubre standing behind him like, hell yeah. And VJ Edgecombe sitting there like, hell yeah. I was like, hell yeah, the Sixers team got it. Then Maxey was just hitting floaters left and right last night. He couldn't miss. His floater was so on last night. That was one of his best shots last night. It was great. He had it working so well. Then at the end of the third quarter, he splits the defenders for a buzzer beater, nails that on, you guessed it, a floater. Fourth quarter, he was all over the place as well. The starters sat out in the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter for both sides, for both sides. Maxey also had the driving layup, then the steal on one trip down the floor. He had a driving layup, steals the inbounds pass, gets another layup, but 4 points right there. Big bang boom for Tyrese Maxey. He had a little bunny he missed that would have put him over the 40-point mark, but it didn't go, unfortunately. But Maxey was phenomenal. He was the star of the show. And then everybody else, every role player did their job. They played their role. They absolutely rolled, as a matter of fact. Kelly Oubre was great in last night's game. VJ Edgecombe was definitely the Batman of last night's game. 24 points, 8 of 18 shooting, 6 of 7 from beyond the arc, 6 threes in the game, a new career high for the rookie, 7 rebounds for him. Quentin Grimes off the bench with 19 points on 7 of 12 shooting, 5 of 8 from beyond the arc. He knocked down 5 threes. The game is a lot easier when you're knocking down threes. Isn't that crazy? And he also had 7 assists, Quentin Grimes did. Quentin Grimes and Adem Bona turned into like Stockton and Malone for a part of this game, where I think it was the first quarter they might have had 3 connections. It might have been 3 times Grimes to Bona for a slam or a lay-in or something. It was, okay, this works, whatever. Little 2-man game with your center off the bench and your guard off the bench. All right, make it happen, babe. And that's exactly what they did. So that was great. Bona had 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 20 minutes, he had 5 fouls. Come on, man. He's just a walking foul, that poor fella. Oh, man. So that was just a lot of fun to follow that game last night, and mainly in that third quarter, because you're just waiting for it. If you follow the Sixers throughout this year, you're just waiting for that moment where they just can't do anything right in the third quarter. I mean, it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't total dominance. I mean, it was a 6-point advantage in the third quarter. But when they have been terrible, awful, to win it at all is a great thing. And to really see it, like looking at a box score like I just did there, that just gives you an idea. But really, you got to watch the game. And I've seen games where Tyrese Maxey has 39 points, everybody else plays like crap, and they lose the game. The fact that, again, the role players rolled, and Tyrese Maxey was just flat out dominant in that third quarter and really just great throughout the game, with the exception of the first minute or two where he had those ugly passes. He was just spectacular. And it wasn't so much the 39-point total as opposed to where he got a bulk of those points. And that third quarter is when he had him. And it was that moment of, not today. It was the moment of, we're not going to allow it to happen. We know it's coming. This time we're actually going to do something to stop it. And that's exactly what they did. And Maxey was the one that was the absolute dude of dudes in there. So Sixers now have an opportunity to actually go home winners on this road trip. They play again Tuesday night in Indianapolis against the Pacers. And Joel Embiid might play in that game. I don't want him to play in that game. Just give him another day. I know you can't play down to your opponent. That was another thing out of last night's game, too, is just to get back to this. So third quarter woes. All right, they solved them in this game. And also the idea of playing down to an opponent. They couldn't afford to do that in this game because it was certainly the Timberwolves. But don't play down to the opponent the following night or the following game, like Tuesday night, tomorrow night when you play against the Pacers. So you didn't solve that problem against the Pelicans, and now you can solve it against the Pacers. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. And I will say from a Sixers perspective, it was you're feeling pretty down on the team going into last night's game, considering the way they played against the Pelicans. Then Kate Scott dropped this little nugget, and I didn't realize this. In the second game of a back-to-back, so the Sixers have had now 11 of them. But at the time, the Sixers were 7-3 in their previous 10 back-to-backs, game 2. So second leg of their back-to-back, they were actually 7-3. I was surprised to learn that. I didn't think they were that good. And then last night, they improved to 8-3 with the victory. Awesome. My bigger concern is when the Sixers come back after a 2-game-plus road trip, how they just lay an egg in their first game at home. And you know what? I don't even know. By the way, the Sixers won 135-108 last night, in case I didn't mention the score. But they ended up just dominating. But yeah, Sixers got the Pacers on Tuesday night, tomorrow night. And then after that, they come back home and they play the Miami Heat. Then they got Boston in Boston on Sunday. And then Tuesday, they host the San Antonio Spurs. Wednesday, they host the Utah Jazz. And then they're back out on the road for a 2-game road trip. But that's what we got looking ahead. So they got the Miami Heat coming to town on Thursday night. Don't let that game be an egg laying. It'd be greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Something happened. I don't have this in the title, but something happened over the weekend that I did find pretty interesting. Saquon Barkley spoke. Saquon Barkley was on with Dan Graziano of ESPN, and he was doing a quick 5-minute interview, and he was promoting something. He was promoting the Red Cross, as a matter of fact, to give blood. So for Saquon Barkley, everybody, give blood. Not today. Don't go out today. Today's probably a bad idea to do that in the Delaware Valley. But Saquon Barkley was talking. Finally, we get somebody on the record from this Eagles offense. I was hoping you'd get a little bit from Jalen Hurts, maybe talk to the media at the Pro Bowl. Didn't happen. Oh, excuse me, the Pro Bowl games. Didn't happen. But Saquon Barkley talks to Dan Graziano of ESPN, and he's asked about Sean Mannion. And he said he did meet Sean Mannion. They did speak. They didn't get to talk X's and O's. But from what Nick Sirianni, Jeffrey Lurie, and Howie Roseman are saying about Sean Mannion, it's a different type of offense than he has really seen, and it's something that he's very excited about. And one word he did use is bringing swag back to the offense. So, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take bringing swag back to the offense. I haven't seen it yet. I've only read a little bit about it. Also, Jahan Dotson did an interview with Jordan Schultz. I just saw that he was talking about how he could still be him, whatever offense it is. So, all right, I hope that's the case. Also talked about Jalen Hurts' leadership. So, something else to keep an eye out for if you're able to watch that interview as well. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. I just saw that it happened, so I'm just letting you know it happened. Because I know that's not going to get as much run as Saquon Barkley talking about Sean Mannion. Also, he talked about Jeff Stoutland, just about how Jeff Stoutland makes everybody better. His take on A.J. Brown was also my take on A.J. Brown last week. So A.J. Brown caused a great stir by winking at Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski when Julian Edelman said, well, we're all Patriots, right, though? Right? How wink? And then he's like, no, I'm just trolling. And everyone was laughing. He says earlier in the interview that he is a Patriots fan. Now, I have never heard of a football player still being a fan of another team while playing for another team. I don't give a damn about conference or anything. AFC, NFC, I don't care. How are you a fan of another team. If the Eagles play on Sunday, is he watching the Patriots being like, come on, Drake May? He said growing up, his older cousin was a Patriots fan, so then he was a Patriots fan. He wanted to do everything his older cousin did, so he was a Patriots fan. Like one of those dumb reasons we like a team when we're kids, and we're like, maybe I shouldn't like that team. But he stuck with them. That is weird to me. The only other comparison I could make is Mike Trout. Mike Trout remained a Phillies fan, even though he was with the Angels. Is with the Angels. I don't know if he's still a Phillies fan, but I know when he was just coming up with the Angels, maybe his rookie year. I don't know. I got to look it up and see what the years were here. But Roy Halladay goes to the Phillies. Mike Trout calls his dad and says, Dad, did you see we got Roy Halladay? Mike Trout's dad says, dude, you can't say we. You play for the Angels. Oh, okay. That to me, it's still weird. It's still weird. Now, maybe you're talking about a young player. It might still have some of those allegiances, especially if you're playing all the way out on the West Coast and you're talking about your East Coast team and you're not even in the same league, whatever. Might, for a younger player, it might go. But for A.J. Brown to still sit here and say that he's a Patriots fan is bonkers. For Saquon Barkley to come out and confirm to Dan Graziano, hey, A.J. Brown is a big Patriots fan, and laugh about it, all right, that's still weird to me. That's still weird to me. Now, look, I don't know, man. A lot of people, I don't know. I feel like when everybody hates AJ, I tend to like him. When everyone loves AJ, I tend to hate him. I hate strong word. Annoyed by him. I'm annoyed by him. Like, everybody loved the book. I know I've said this a million times, but I know everybody loved the book. Oh, the book on the sideline was great. I hated it. Everyone else was like, this is great. And then people are like, he's a drama queen, malcontent, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, meh. I'd rather give more of an effort on the football field. That's really all I care about, especially if you're going to be pointing fingers all over the place. But AJ does AJ. That's one thing that I've definitely learned about AJ Brown. But to learn that he's still a Patriots fan is just so weird. How's that even possible? How's that even possible? But for Saquon to be laughing about it, maybe it's something they talk about in the locker room, and they always think it's weird, and they laugh, and haha, and they move on. But it also didn't sound anything like Saquon Barkley is not expecting to be teammates with A.J. Brown. Now, Combine Week, folks. You excited? We'll hear from We'll hear from Howie Roseman on A.J. Brown. We'll hear from Nick Sirianni on A.J. Brown. And I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. Howie. Okay. Howie. A.J. Brown potentially being traded. Thoughts? He's a great player, and we don't like to get rid of great players. Thank you. That's my prediction. Nick Sirianni. What do you think of Sean Mannion? Oh, man, Sean. He's Mr. Sean Mannion. Sean Mannion's offense is exotic and mystical. And I refer to it as sorcery and wizardry that will catch everyone in the league off guard. It will not be predictable. Okay. Did you ever think about hiring Frank Reich as your offensive coordinator? No, just a consultant. Then he went to the Jets. Just a consultant. Okay. Fascinating. I'm going to tell you my favorite part of that story with Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni having that conversation. I forget who was put it out, so Miss Guzzi. My favorite part about that story with Nick Sirianni talking to Frank Reich about being a consultant for the Eagles before Frank Reich took the offensive coordinator job for the Jets is that while that conversation took place, it was not for the offensive coordinator position. It was just to be a consultant. The thing that I find so endearing about just that little tidbit is that in either case, the Eagles were not interested in doing Nick Sirianni, Frank Reich type stuff in their offense. They wanted to be very different. They wanted to be more like Sean McVay. They wanted to be more like Kevin O'Connell. They want to be more like Clint Kubiak. They want to do things that they have seen. Matt LaFleur, they want to do things that they have seen in those offenses, not what Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni and Carmen Vitullo did while they were in Indianapolis and what Nick Sirianni maybe did in the early portions of his coaching career with the Philadelphia Eagles. So that I actually find interesting, very interesting, that the interview was not about, hey, Frank, you want to be the offensive coordinator? No, it was, hey, so we're going to do something different, but we can still use you as a consultant if you want to do, if you want to be a consultant. No, I think I'll go to New York and be an offensive coordinator and call plays. Okay. So I actually really liked seeing that story. So that was a good thing. So yeah, look forward to hearing from Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni a little bit more about what this offense could do. Your Philadelphia Phillies. 0-2 in spring training, but Justin Crawford looked like a stud in the Grapefruit League opener. His first at bat. Now, probably what you've seen already. He had a double in his first at bat. Had a nice little sliding grab there in center field, covering some ground. But he also struck out and had a humpback liner for a base hit off the mitt of the shortstop in that game. But in that first at bat that he pulled a ball down the right field line that was going, it's gone foul. Just foul down the right field line. Oh, man, if he would have let off that game with a home run, what a weekend it would have been. But Justin Crawford, look, it's one game in spring training. He looked like he belonged. What do I always say? What do I always say about young players in these types of games, whether it's a spring training game, whether it's a preseason game in football, whatever, just look like you belong. That's it. Just don't get happy feet. Don't over pursue. Don't try to do too much. Just look like a guy who belongs. That's all. Justin Crawford looked like a guy who belonged. And even more so, 2 hits, nice little grab in center field. Loved it. They lose the game. Also, they lose the game yesterday, but Kyle Schwarber hit a home run in yesterday's game. That was fun. Kyle Schwarber starts things off on the right foot for your fighting Phils. And then I'm blanking on the gentleman's first name. Carson DiMartini. 23 years old. He hits a home run as well for the Phillies yesterday. They lose 4-3 to the Pirates. Things seem to be still progressing well with Zach Wheeler while he's coming back from his injury and his surgery. So that's good. Yesterday, Bryce Harper during the broadcast said that the Phillies have the best pitching staff in baseball. I hope they obviously prove him correct in that. And he also just kind of dry snitched on Aiden Miller that he's got a back issue. All right, I don't like hearing that about a young guy. So he joked, Bryce Harper did during his in-game interview, that, I'm looking forward to seeing Aiden Miller once he gets off his butt and gets out there. And everyone had a good laugh. And then it became a little bit more known afterwards that Aiden Miller has been dealing with a bit of an issue, unfortunately. So hopefully he'll be able to get back on the football or the baseball field sooner rather than later. Hey, let me tell you about the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Gametime app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Gametime app has you covered. So download the Gametime app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Gametime app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. Before I get to the chat check, day to day. As of right now, Aiden Miller is day to day. So that's what you got. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing. First, good luck, everybody, when it comes to digging yourself out of the snow. Sean Kilrain, hello. April. Hello, April. Sean Gillespie, hello. Amazing gold medal win. It really was. One of those things I'm going to think about, just about how spectacular everything about that was. And one more thing on that. The stuffed animals. Question. What are we doing? I watched the Canadian women's hockey team get them after losing to the U.S. I watched the Canadian men's hockey team get him after losing to the U.S. And I can't imagine just losing a game in heartbreaking fashion and somebody being like, yeah, but you want an adorable little stuffed animal? Put that on a very short list of things I'd want. Things I wouldn't want after a devastating loss like that. But hey, they did it. So there you go. At least it's not really cold. I did my first run last night very late. After the Sixers game, I did a post-game show for Locked On. And then I went out probably 10:50, 11 o'clock. Put in an hour. Took care of some of the neighbor's sidewalk and stuff. Driveway, obviously. So I hope I only have about 6 inches to deal with as opposed to like 20. I don't know. Remember when Canada had a 5-on-3 power play and didn't score, and then Hellenbuck was. I had the same thought. Dominic Hasek, absolutely Sean Kilrain, and the U.S. won in overtime. Remember that? That was awesome. I do remember that. That was awesome. It was look, 41 shots. I don't even know what the total was, but I know the for both sides. But I know the Canadians were stopped 41 times. "41 times. I mean, look, shots on goal shows that you had pressure, but can also show if you don't have goals, they didn't capitalize on opportunities. The Canadians, I forget who it was, but two of them, one was just that amazing save with a wide open net, except for Hellenbuck. Hellenbuck putting his stick out to just get a piece of the puck and deflect it. Another, and the United States, a shot from the point maybe looked like it hit both crossbars or both upright, whatever, both crossbars, and bounced out. It actually hit a player, then the far crossbar, and went out like a quarter of an inch in. Gordon Bombay, a quarter of an inch the other way, and I would have been a champion or whatever. Quarter inch the other way, you would have missed completely. I never thought about that, Charlie. Anyway, sorry. That was incredibly close to a goal, but not for the United States. And then Canada, they get stoned by Hellenbuck, and then a wide open net. Hellenbuck is slow to react, moving to his right, and I forget who it was for the Canadians, but he pulls it and missed the net completely. Like, dude, yeah, the Canadians played an incredible game, an absolutely incredible game, but they did not capitalize on opportunities the way the United States capitalized on opportunities in this one. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You had more opportunities and you blow it, or you had more opportunities and defensively, the United States, goaltending most notably, stood on their head and stopped you time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. I'm going to quote my friend Al Morgani. Why do they? Oh, no, it's not even his quote. He always said it was I think it was a Boston coach that he knew. He was like, they shouldn't even call it hockey. They should just call it goaltending. And yesterday was a perfect example of that. But man, what an amazing game. Sean Kilrain, Sixers effed up, in my opinion, by getting rid of Jared McCain. Jared McCain's been on a little bit of a heater there for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I didn't want the Sixers to trade Jared McCain. I thought he was better than what we had seen for the majority of the season. I'd still rather have Jared McCain than what the Sixers got in return in that deal. Daryl Morey saying that we sold high on Jared McCain. Well, you didn't sell low, I will say that, considering you could have sold in November or December. But January, he shot 48% from three and was looking like his old self, looking like a guy that you want to see come off the bench for the 76ers in a season where they're trying to win. And instead, they send him off for a late first-round pick and 3 seconds. Whoopity-doo. But yeah, he had, 21 points 2 nights ago, and then had that really weird interview. I think, anybody else think his teammates are just breaking his stones a little bit there? He does the interview, talks about how he feels good and everything. It's like, hey, do the dog. And he goes, wait, okay. Woof, 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 woof. And who was it in the back? God, who was it? Just like bearing his head like, I can't believe he's actually doing it. And I'm like, oh, guys, be nice. Be nice to our friend Jared McCain. Cousin? What's up, cousin? The shot of Maxey's poster over Ant was awesome. It was so awesome. It was awesome. It might have been the greatest thing I saw in American sport yesterday. Oh, no, it was the second greatest thing. Maxey has to take over in the future. Yes. This is where you separate. I couldn't agree more. This is where you separate the men from the boys in the second half, fourth quarter, most notably. They did a story on it. I forget who it was recently. Just about Maxey's lack of production in the fourth quarter, final 5 minutes. Like he was one of the fewest in the league. Like still, even at the time, he was the third highest scoring player in the league. But in the last 5 minutes of the game, he would just disappear. And this is before Joel Embiid was going on his heater. Definitely taking a vacation today after the shoveling. We're up to 10 inches. I'm good for. Oh man, Sean Kilrain, good luck to you, buddy. Good luck to you. It is. Yeah, it sucks. It's awful. I'm out there shoveling and thinking of warm weather. I'm thinking of Phillies spring training. I'm thinking it won't be long before we think cold is how it's going to feel at Citizens Bank Park on opening day. Man, I look forward to it. What I tell everyone always when it comes to shoveling snow and handling the business and all that stuff out there, don't overexert. There's going to be a lot of work to be done. Take shifts. If you can take shifts, if you can help your neighbors, help your neighbors. If your neighbors can help you, let them help you. If the one guy with the snowplow in the neighborhood or the two people with the snowplow in the neighborhood want to give a run around, say, all right, have at it. Then you buy them a bottle of wine or dinner somewhere or something. I don't know. That you work it out that way. But or just be nice. Just say thank you. But don't do too much, especially if you're up there in age, especially if you got a medical condition. Good luck to you. And public service announcement. Clean your car off. Please, for the good of humanity and everyone ever, clean your car off. That includes the top. People freak out about shovels. Got to get a shovel. I need a shovel. A push broom will do the trick as well. Add a push broom to your shovel list or whatever. Clean the top of your car off. I'm seeing sheets of ice a month ago fly off people's cars. Oh, man. It's terrible. Clean the car off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Ooh. Would you bring back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? I saw him do an interview. Not even an interview. It was just some hit. And he just said, yeah, he would come back to Philadelphia. I'd take him back in Philadelphia. The math is simple. He plays here. You're in a Super Bowl. That's fun. I like Super Bowls. I don't think they'll do it, though. I think they're going to re-up with Reed Blankenship, and I think they like Drew Makuba. But I don't think they're going to bring him back. Rye, what's up, Rye? Just a solid dusting and Fangio. Okay. Good luck to you guys as well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. I'm off the rest of the day. Basically, kids are home, wife's home, a lot of snow shoveling to do. My daughter has her first virtual day today. Sounds terrible. Who's going to help me shovel? Do it by myself? Without my 6-year-old daughter? What? Terrible. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great. Good luck today. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Full day tomorrow. We got Locked On 76ers at 10 o'clock. Me and Keith Pompey. Noon, we're going to have Locked On Eagles squad show tomorrow. So full slate tomorrow. And then at night, I got to do a short after the Sixers game. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys tomorrow. See you then.